My boy Fluffy lost, man. It dude. Oh, dude, it's so sad, dude. I love Fluffy so much. He's still one of my favorite fighters. He's still my boy. He's still my boy, but good shit from Sean Strickland, man. Really good stuff. The card just wrapped up. I'm gonna talk about the whole card. Start with the main event. You know the drill. But yeah, man. The first round, I think you probably get both first rounds to Fluffy. To Strickland. Although they were kind of close. I like Fluffy's game plan, man, but Strickland looked really good on the back foot. He looked a lot better on the back foot than I expected him to look. He was circling around Fluffy really well. Really good footwork. Footwork was looking better than normal, honestly. Way better. The Strickland looked in a way better. Like, his footwork looked improved. He was really calm. He wasn't really doing any of, like, the freaking, this stuff. You know what I mean? Where he was, like, he wasn't doing a lot of that. He was moving around, like, properly, and he didn't look stupid. He looked just like an elite striker. Because that's what he is, but usually looks kind of weird, right? But he didn't look weird. Didn't look weird at all. He just looked good. Looked really good. They both had good game plans. It's just Fluffy kind of abandoned his game plan. He used the clinch like he should have. Used some of the elbows like he should have. He used, uppercuts in close and freaking nice tight threes when he needed to. And was pressing forward with a high and tight guard the whole time. But I feel like by the time it came to round 3, you shouldn't have still been scrapping like that. I knew he was a marauder, but I didn't know it'd be. In a way, I was underrating Strickland and overrating Fluffy. Again, because Hernandez being a marauder, it was his downfall. He wasn't slowing down and he got sloppy. And Strickland is a better striker. And I thought that, I thought that when I saw him doing that in round 5, I was, okay, well, he's going to, like, shoot for the takedown. And, like, he did, but then immediately after, it came out an exit, I'm all right, well, we got to go right back to that because we can't just keep on, trying to strike with him. We were building in the first couple rounds, setting a decent pace. They were kind of close rounds. He stumbled. Didn't knock him down, but like he stumbled Strickland kind of bad in round 1. So you can argue that round for Fluffy if you want. But yeah, man, I think Fluffy really should have just started grappling. And in round 3, I think he knew he should have. As soon as he started to get sloppy, he should have just shoot. Clinch. All the clinch exchanges, Fluffy was winning. He was winning the clinch striking exchanges. You should have just kept doing that. Forcing the clinch, forcing the takedowns, not just up against the fence, but in. And that knee, man, that knee was nasty from Strickland in that KO sequence too. Like Strickland kind of looked slick. Strickland, that was an insane version of Strickland, guys. All right, Fluffy, hey, Fluffy only lost because Strickland looked amazing, guys. Nah. Strickland did look amazing, but. And Fluffy, I think Fluffy knew where he messed up, and he's got to improve. And Fluffy's got a fight IQ problem. Like, he has a good game plan, and then it is like sometimes it goes away for the love of the game, and that's a shame. It's a real shame. But I think, man, overall this card. All right, that's all I got to say on that. Good stuff from Strickland. Also, Strickland invited Fluffy over to talk. With Bisping after he TKO'd him in the post-fight interview. And was like, yeah, this guy's a man, guys. This guy Fluffy, he's the type of man I want to be. He's married, he's got kids. I'll never be half the man that this man is. So he was praising him for being a man. And it was like he proved that he was half Mexican tonight with the way he was throwing down. So yeah, that was cool. And it was a good fight. Dude, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was worried for Fluffy, and he got DK'd. But good stuff from Strickland. Funny, good post-fight interview. That's all I had to say about that. Uros Medic. Let's talk about Uros Medic. This guy flatlined Jeff Neal. Okay? You know who the only other guy to KO Jeff Neal in the past decade is? Yeah, it's Carlos Prates, a.k.a. the best KO artist in the welterweight division's history. Okay? And Uros Mesh just KO'd him. Look, is Jeff probably kind of washed? Yeah. But is it still impressive? Yeah. Uros Mesh is he is an impressive KO artist. And dude, his post-fight speech was entertaining as shit. And he also tried to do that really cool post-fight celebration. It was, I don't know, doing all that stuff. But the ref pushed him away. Because for some reason he somehow thought that he was trying to go for follow-up shots, even though he's just doing like a dance celebration sort of thing. Right next to where Jeff Neal's corpse was. He's not actually dead, YouTube. But Jeff Neal man, I hope he makes a good recovery. That was great stuff. Great, easy KO from Uros Mesh, but we also have to mention that Uros did look sloppy. He looked sloppy early. And even in that first minute, he was doing a bunch of, I don't know, weird stuff. He just looked sloppy. He's not that good, but like if a finish is there, like he's gonna get it. You know, he's gonna get it. But if he doesn't get it, I mean, this dude got KO'd by Pinellas, so I don't know. Okay, well, just last year, by the way. Who got a win himself, so that's cool. Tonight. Anyways, Melky, my boy Melky did it, dude. I thought he was gonna get a decision, right? But my boy Melky, he freaking spinning wheel kick KO'd Danny Gay. Danny Gay's never been finished ever. Before this, he had 10 losses. 10. And they were all by decision. He just got spinning wheel kick TKO. Spinning wheel kick into a ground and pound shots. Spinning wheel kick TKO from Melky. Just got a flatline head kick KO before that, by the way. And you called it Diego Lopez. I hope they don't make that, please, UFC. Don't indulge him. Please don't get my boy Melky killed. But I do want to see, a big matchup like Arnold Allen or something. I think, what else do I think? Yeah, no, great stuff from Melky. The rest of the card was kind of dookie, right? Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. This was a very interesting fight, okay? A very interesting fight. Because Sergey Spivak outlanded Delija by 41 strikes on the stats. The stats say he outlanded by 41 strikes. I don't think he outlanded by that much. I think that's a little crazy. Maybe 20 or 30. 41 strikes is crazy. I think those striking stats are false. I watched the fight, but I think Ante disappointed me. I think Ante got his face beat up bad. I think this makes the heavyweight division look bad. Do you know why? Well, think about it like this. Sergey Spivak just outboxed Ante Delija. Ante Delija outboxed freaking Marcin Tybura and made Marcin Tybura look shit and just lost a mostly boxing scrap to Sergey Spivak. And I will preface that it was a scrap. It wasn't that high level, but it was a scrap. And we both saw that neither of them are that good. Delija just has high finishing potential. But it's crazy that Waldo almost got finished by this guy who couldn't even finish Sergey Spivak on the feet with over 60 significant strikes landed in 3 rounds. And also, you think back to Ante, freaking, almost KOing Waldo. If it wasn't for the eye poke, probably would have TKO'd him. And after this, it's not really a good look for Waldo. And also, freaking Jailton Almeida had easy... Waldo also took Sergey to a decision, but he beat him. But this also looks bad for them because Jailton Almeida just got cut from the UFC. Jailton Almeida, who looked like shit in his last fight against a guy who looked like shit, and Rizvan Kuniev, who looked like shit even though he beat Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida, who looked like shit and lost to a guy who looked like shit on the feet, freaking TKO'd and finished Sergey Spivak. I know he's grappling, but still, You're following me here. This looks bad for the heavyweight division, and it looks bad for Ante DeLegia. He wasn't using low kicks. He wasn't using... I don't know. He's like... You can't even say he's a shitty Tom Aspinall. He's a hook. He's a hooker. He's a hooker. He throws hooks. He's a hooker. He throws hooks sometimes. He doesn't want to. He landed hard shots, but he got cut up way more than Sergey Spivak did, and Sergey clearly won. Yeah. Disappointing from Ante. But good stuff from the Polar Bears, Sergey Spivak. I like Sergey Spivak more after that, from that fight, and I like Ante less. The little eye poke cheat mate. Now, Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. I should have known that Josiah Harrell was going to lose to Jacoby Smith. And we saw and hear that this wasn't a good pick for me. I had some shit. I had some picks that weren't great. It happens. And I also had good picks. But the thing is, Josiah Harrell just didn't look like he was on the same level. And got pretty easily TKO'd. It was a late stoppage, by the way. The freaking ground... After he dropped it, dude. Those ground and pound shots were insane. He was dead. Dude, he was out cold, and the ref just... I don't know what he was waiting for. And then for some reason, he pushed Jacoby Smith. Like it was Jacoby Smith's fault. He was really violent with Jacoby Smith. I get off him already. Like, dude, it's your fault that you didn't stop it earlier. Jeez. Like, he's acting like someone else is the ref, and he's just interfering because he feels bad. Anyways, Michelle Pereira versus Zachary Reese. Zachary Reese won. Kind of a robbery. You know what? I'm not going to call it a robbery. I'm not. I don't care. There's people that feel way too strongly about this on both sides. This could have gone either way. I don't fucking care. This could have gone either way. Split decision as it should be. As should be. You can go either way. It was a shit fight. Both of them looked terrible. Michelle Pereira looked like a shell of himself. That's not meant to be a pun, but it is. I don't know why he didn't really go for the finish in round one. I don't know why he avoided going to the ground, even though he has good submission potential there and ground and pound TKO potential there. I don't know why he wasn't using more of his arsenal. I don't know why a lot of things. I don't know why he was saving his gas tank just to not really do anything with his gas tank later on. You can say damage-based scoring, Michelle won, or blah, blah, blah. Look, on verdict, I scored it for Michelle. After I thought about it, I'm like, I think Zach won, and I don't really know. It's literally a razor-close fight that could go either way. It doesn't matter. No one won this fight. They both look like shit. Move on. Didn't mean to... Carlos Leal versus Chitty Ninja Kwani. This is good. This is good stuff. This was good stuff from my boy. From freaking steroided up. Not my boy, but steroided up CEO of EPO, Carlos Leal. This dude is on a buttload of EPO. Okay? Chitty Ninja Kwani was looking good. He had some good knees and was using his range well, but Carlos Leal was he landed a crap ton of strikes. Okay? This says 126 to 124 in total strikes. That's the biggest bullshit Sue I've ever heard. He outlanded him by over 40 strikes. I don't give a fuck. I feel like this and the Sergey Spivak fight stats should be flip-flopped. Only difference is there was way more happening in this fight than that fight. But in terms of how far apart the strike numbers were. Right, because this says that Chitty only landed 2 strikes less than him. That's complete and utter bullshit, nonsense. That's just the facts. 115 and 120. Dude, Chitty did not have more significant strikes. That's just a terrible strike stat. Carlos outlanded him like crazy in round 1 and just outlanded him in round 2 and, arguably lost round 3. Could have won all 3 rounds. It was good stuff from Carlos Leal. A good decision went from Carlos Leal. Good fight from both. Really high output. It was fun. Lot of activity from both guys. I think they're both pretty good in the welterweight division. They both look good out there. Both doing good stuff. Also, speaking of good stuff, Alibi Idris, had a nice wet blanket fest. But he dropped Odan round 1. He looked good. It was a good performance. Nice little 29-28 from Alibi. O'Day looked freaking depressed. Makes sense. Yeah. It was kind of a pick'em's fight, and O'Day, already off coming out of the loss. He probably thought he was gonna get a nice little KO on this one. A lot of people thought that. I didn't. I had Alibi. I think Alibi's pretty good, kind of good. I think he's good, and he proved that. He proved that he's good. Nice little wet blanket or nice grappler. Not the most entertaining. It was a little entertaining early on. He was kind of jumping and flying and doing weird stuff, like jumping around like a chimpanzee. Alibi was, and it was kind of weird looking, but it worked somehow. And O'Day didn't chin him somehow. He just didn't know how to handle it, and he didn't do it the whole fight. Alibi just used it in round 1 to somehow drop O'Day and freaking grapple him and stuff. And yeah, so Alden Correa had a really good performance over Louis Gruel. I had him by submission. He almost got it. He almost got it, dude. He almost got that ninja choke. It wasn't very likely for him to get a submission, but honestly, he was so close. Dude, he fumbled that ninja choke, and he also fumbled a KO in the round after that. It was just overall good performance everywhere. Almost KO'd him, almost submitted him. The ninja choke, if you just locked it up just right, just made a small adjustment. Just shifted it slightly to the side and sunk it more into his freaking elbow pit, whatever the fuck that's called, right? Would have got that ninja choke. Almost got the KO too, knocked him down. That was nice. It was an overall good 30-27 performance from Alden Correa. I think Alden Correa is kind of good, man. I do think he's good. He's good. This girl, hard guy to finish, but Alden got close and he threw everything he had at him. And I like this kid. It was a nice performance. Great performance. I look forward to seeing him more. And he's a young kid too. Was he 25? He looks young. I know he's young. He's 24, 25. Nor Canol, Jocelyn Edwards. Nor Canol, man, she's hard to finish. No, she's definitely hard to KO, but Jocelyn submitted her. Jocelyn freaking submitted her. She's a WMMA fighter on a 4-fight finishing win streak. That is literally insane. That is insane, and it is unheard of. Now here's the thing. Jocelyn Edwards is she's like Leon Edwards as a woman. She's a WMMA Leon Edwards with better jiu-jitsu. Okay? But the thing is, the people that she's beating, I don't remember the name of, what was it? I can't remember her name, but I know the lady, the girl that she submitted a couple fights ago, part of her 4-fight finishing streak, has terrible grappling. Nor Canoli doesn't really have good grappling either, but it's still a 4-fight finishing streak, and she's still doing it in impressive fashion. Nora Canol, if I remember correctly, did win round 1. Dude, why does Pinelo Soriano look terrible in this pic? He looks like a freaking fish. Dude, look at this fish. We're just going to stay zoomed in on that. But yeah, no, I need... Okay. All right. So this fight ended up being boring. It was boring. It was pretty boring. I was talking to my buddy the whole time. I'm going to be honest. Usually I'm paying 100% attention to fights. I was paying 70% attention to this. I'm going to be honest. It was kind of boring. Round 1 was boring. Ramirez was smudging. And he was just kind of smudging in round 2 as well. But Pinelli was getting some good strikes off. And then he got some even better strikes off and was doing good damage in round 3. And I kind of like Pinelli. I like the stuff he was doing. He won, off of damage. That was nice to see. He had a neat little celebration. Pinelli's cool. Nice little win from Pinelli. Kind of a close fight, but clear. Well, not close. No, what am I saying? It was a competitive fight, but it was clear. My new boy, John Paul Lebanonzi, won a split decision. Some people thought Phil Rowe won. I thought John Paul won. I thought it could have went either way. It was a really close fight. It was kind of... it wasn't bad. Dude, why can't I... Man, I hate how bad my memory is. You got getting freaking hit every day trying to be an MMA fighter is not does not do well for your memory, let me tell you. But John Paul, man, dude. Why do I not... This annoys me. I can't remember if this is entertaining or not. Oh, my gosh. I remember Phil Rowe being depressed and Phil Rowe being hesitant. Oh, I remember. Yeah, this was kind of a good fight. Phil Rowe was kind of stinging Paul up with some jabs, but freaking John Paul was landing, was landing the more, significant strikes and damaging strikes. Though Phil Rowe was tagging him anytime he was coming in. Like, John Paul doesn't really have that great a defense, we saw. He was outlanded him, got damaged him for the most part, and was kind of controlling where the fight was going and pushing the pace on him. I mean, and had takedowns. Like, I get why they gave it to John. I gave it to John, so. And even, like, if you just look at these stats, you're like, oh, yeah, John won. 84-59, I don't know if I believe that. I keep saying I don't know if I believe these stats, but I'm serious. What the hell? What the hell? Jordan Levitt. What a boring-ass fight. But, dude, I can't believe, man, I hate that I'm not one of the people who picked the vet, the sneaky, crafty vet grappler to get it done, right? This is terribly boring. Jordan Levitt just kind of controlled him on the ground the entire fight. It was slapping him in the booty at the end. But Yadir Duvall did land a really good 2 on the feet, but that's what he's got a 2. He's got a straight 2, and that's kind of what Duvall has. He's got a straight 2, and he's got some other things. Like, he's decent on the feet. Don't get me wrong. Yadir Duvall, yeah, he's decent on the feet. I feel like he could have KO'd him after what I saw in round 2. I was okay. Well, he's probably, he should KO him in round 2, but, in round 3, but the way this fight's going, he's probably just going to get laid on again, so that's cool. That's a pick wrong for me. Should have picked Jordan Levitt in hindsight because Yadir is literally coming off of a rigged win over Isaac Dogarian. I don't know if you've looked into that, but yeah, the whole betting scandal and everything. So, yeah, that shouldn't even be on his record. That should just be a straight-up no contest. But anyways, yeah, Yadir loses his win streak, his undefeated streak, sorry. He's now, 10-1? Destai Hare also lost his undefeated streak. But freaking Jacoby Smith kept his. Juliana Miller, Carly Judice. This is a close fight, I'm not going to lie. Like, round 2 is clearly Carly Judice, and round 1 and 3 were, kind of close. But this is how I look at it. You can argue Carly won every round. You can't for Juliana Miller. Who does that tell you won the fight? Carly Judice, right? You can argue that Carly won every round. When I watched it live, I thought Carly won rounds 2 and 3. I did. I thought she outputted her, out-damaged her. Got close to finishing her. Really beat the shit out of her in round 2 bad. There were some people that gave her a 10-8 in round 2. I didn't think it was that dominant. She didn't do quite enough, but she did outland her by a lot. Not damage her, just kind of beat her up in round 2. Did pretty good in round 3 as well. Juliana did some work with the grappling in round 1. It was kind of boring. It was boring outside of round 2 pretty much. But it was a good enough performance for Judice. Yeah, that's the card for you. See ya.